On this day in 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. Today, thousands marched on Washington calling for social justice and police reform. Natalie Brand is there.
Thousands of protesters descended on the nation's capital on the 57th anniversary of the March on Washington.
It's been a struggle for all people, especially people of brown and black race.
Laverne Hines says she attended the 1963 march as a toddler. This time, she brought her daughter and grandson.
The struggle still goes on.
Nicholas Dixon says he traveled from South Carolina with a message for elected leaders.
What do you want them to hear?
Our voices.
We will get your knee off our neck.
The march was organized in part by Reverend Al Sharpton after the police-involved death of George Floyd in May. But Friday's demonstration took on new significance after Jacob Blake was shot by a police officer in Kenosha, Wisconsin this week. Family members of both men spoke at the Lincoln Memorial Friday.
I wish George were here to see this right now. Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake!
Attendees also heard from the family of Breonna Taylor.
What we need is change, and we're at a point where we can get that change.
And the 2020 Democratic vice presidential candidate.
We have an opportunity to make history right here and right now.
We are going to be the generation that dismantles systemic racism once and for all.
A new generation of Martin Luther King Jr.'s descendants making a passionate plea decades after his iconic call for change. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Earlier this week, we spoke with a Minnesota man who is in Washington for today's march. Julian Johnson told our Reg Chapman that bringing attention to the issue and demanding reform is the only way to confront the problem.
I'm 63 years old, and I've been seeing this for quite a few years. When my friend in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Wayne Brookshire, was killed at the age of 15. So I've been seeing black men killed by the police for an awfully long time. I want to be optimistic and hopeful that things can change, but things need to change because this is a powder keg that we're sitting on. And if we do not truly address it, it's only going to get worse.
Johnson hopes to come back from Washington with a renewed focus on how to create change in the community. He says Minneapolis has a chance to set an example for what's possible when it comes to policing, race relations, and equity.